Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Inyoma. I go by The Simple Pharmacist here on YouTube. You can also find me on my website, thesimplepharmacist.com. This video is going to be a review on my attempt at a 17-day extended fast. So let's get right into it. Well, Happy New Year, Happy New Decade. It is officially 2020. And to celebrate 2020, my plan was to start off the year ending a 17-day fast, which was going to end on January the 1st of this year. However, that didn't happen, and I will go into the reasons why I ended my fast on day 8 instead of day 17. So if you don't know what fasting is, it is an extended period of time where your body is without food. And some people fast without water as well. For example, certain religious groups go without food and water for between the hours of like sunrise to sundown during certain months of the year. But fasting from like a health perspective is more about going without food but drinking a ton of water. Gonna wait for the ice cream guy to pass. So basically, no food, lots and lots and lots of water. You can also have tea and coffee with no sweeteners, guys. Any kind of sweeteners will break your fast. You can also have like chewing gum, but unsweetened chewing gum, or I prefer gum that has no aspartame. So I just basically get like a 5-calorie gum, which will not break your fast, I promise. It's just 5 calories is... I think I just burned 5 calories by just blowing that puff of air out. Maybe not, but still. I'm just saying that tiny bit of sugar is not going to break your fast or whatever sweetener they put in the gum. But yes, no food, lots of water. That's what you do when you fast. And the more common form of fasting is intermittent fasting because a lot of people do it. You basically only eat during certain hours of the day, and the rest of the day you're fasting. We all humans basically do some form of intermittent fasting because when you're asleep, you're not eating. And the term breakfast comes from breaking your fast from the night prior. But some of us actually choose to go longer. So I know a common fasting method is to do a 16-hour period fasted, 8 hours of eating, and others do like an 18-hour fasted, 6 hours of eating. You can do a 20-hour fasted, 4 hours of eating. However you want to play it, there's several options to choose from, and you can customize it to a schedule that fits your lifestyle. So I do intermittent fasting all the time. I've been doing it for the past couple of years, and it has helped my sanity. It has helped me break the habit of constant snacking or eating late at night. I basically just eat between the hours of like 2 to 6 p.m. and that schedule has changed. I've tried all kinds of schedules and I just adjusted to what's going on with my life at the moment. The whole point of intermittent fasting is to train your body to be hungry only during certain periods of the day, and you're not constantly snacking, but you're drinking lots of water, and overall it's just it's better for your health. There are actual studies that show that it prolongs your life, and it stimulates autophagy, which is just cell death, and kind of can help prevent cancer. So look into intermittent fasting if that's something that you haven't checked out before. And before you do any kind of extended fast, I highly recommend that you try an intermittent fast. Otherwise, you're going to be hungry all the time. So let's get into what an extended fast feels like. So for example, I just completed an 8-day fast, and I had done an 8-day fast in 2018 before. And throughout 2018 and 2019, I had done like 2-day fasts, 4-day fasts, 5-day fasts. So I'm well versed with fasting. I know what to expect. And anytime I do a fast that is longer than 3 days, I just tell myself I'm fasting for 3 days. And this works to trick your brain because only during those first 3 days do you actually experience hunger when fasting. People always say, aren't you hungry? You know, you're fasting for so long. You were only hungry during the first 3 days. After that, you're not hungry anymore. You're kind of in a blissful Zen state. So when you tell your brain, I'm only fasting for 3 days, you're kind of able to push through it than to tell your brain, I'm fasting for 20 days. You know, it just makes it seem like a much longer duration when basically you're only going to be hungry for the first 3 days. So the reason I say to do intermittent fasting before you do an extended fast is because if you train your body to only be hungry, for example, between the hours of like 2 p.m. and 8 p.m., then you're only going to be hungry between the hours of 2 p.m. and 8 p.m. when you're doing an extended fast. So the days will go by a lot faster. Whereas compare that to someone who is eating all the time. So when you wake up, you eat. At noon, you eat. At 4 p.m. you have a little snack. At 8 p.m. you have dinner. And then at 11 p.m. right before bed, you have a little snack again. Your body is going to get used to whatever structure you give it, right? So you're going to be hungry during all those hours of the day. If you snack a lot, you're going to be hungry all the time because you're eating not necessarily out of true hunger, but out of boredom. So when you do an extended fast, you might be miserable for a long time. Whereas for someone who has been intermittent fasting, they will be hungry for the first 3 days, but only be hungry for like 4 hours or 2 hours, depending on what your fasting schedule is for each of those 3 days. By day 4, this dog won't stop barking. We'll just keep going. By day 4, your hunger evaporates. Someone can cook in front of you. You can cook. You can smell food and your mouth won't salivate, if that makes sense. You're just in a kind of happy ketosis state is what it is. Your body is burning fat. So that's why if you can do intermittent fasting before and trick your brain to say I'm only fasting for 3 days, your extended fast will go a lot smoother. By day 4, you're going to also notice that you've been experiencing insomnia for the past 4 days. Anytime I fast, I get horrible insomnia, and I know a lot of people that I've read or watched videos say the same thing, and I'm not sure what the mechanism is, but it's just something to expect. Now, what started to derail my fasting started on day 4 and 5, which is that to combat the insomnia, I did something very unwise. I took a Benadryl pill, and I only took 25 milligrams of Benadryl, which for an adult my size is normal and, actually less than adult dosing. But I took it because I was like, let me do something to try and prevent or just combat this insomnia and prevent the fasting rash, which I'll talk about next. But what happened was it sat in my tummy, and because I had been on bowel rest, it just took forever for the effects to dissipate. So I literally was in bed all day, day 5. I took it the night of day 4. Day 5, I was lethargic. I was just lying in bed. Any movement made me so tired, so exhausted. And just the Benadryl was the gift that kept on giving. I would highly recommend that if you experience insomnia like I did, you just stick with drinking unsweetened tea like chamomile tea and any kind of calm, restful, sleepy time tea that has no added sugars in it, because at least your stomach isn't struggling to try and break down this drug, and then the effects just last long and just make you so tired and weary. That was one thing that I would never do again, is just take a pill while I'm fasting. And the other thing that the Benadryl caused is I think it caused a buildup of stomach acids, because by days 5 and 6 and 7 and day 8, what ultimately led me to end my fast is that I had unbelievable heartburn. I've never experienced any kind of heartburn in my life that was prolonged. Like, sometimes you eat something, a little bit comes up and then, it goes back down, whatever. This was prolonged, unstoppable heartburn. It was like someone took a golf ball and put it right in my throat and set it on fire. And it didn't matter how much water I drank, it just would not go away. I had to go to 2 Christmas parties, a birthday celebration, and I just felt so miserable. I was just like, what the heck is this? I've never had heartburn ever on any of my previous fasts, and this fast, my stomach acids just went on overdrive or something. If you know anything about that, or if you know someone who does, please leave a comment below and let me know. And also, if you like the video so far, please give it a thumbs up and like and share and subscribe. But back to the heartburn. I was just like, what is this? What is this? And I tried to push through. It just did not work. So that's why I ended my fast, is because of heartburn. I was planning to do a full 17-day fast, and anytime I quit something prematurely, I just feel like a failure. And I know that that's just pressure that I put on myself and not that anybody else puts on me. but I really wanted to do this long extended fast, but the heartburn just would not let me be. So the golden rule of fasting is this: if you're not feeling good during a fast, then you need to stop. And so I had to listen to my body and stop. Now, not feeling good is not hunger, because hunger is expected, especially during the first 3 days of a fast. And one thing that fasting will teach you is the difference between emotional hunger and true hunger. So true hunger is when your body's like, we need food, we need sustenance, versus emotional hunger is just the fact that food is not just something that we do for sustenance, it's something that bonds us together as communities, as families. When we're bored, a lot of us eat as well. So it's bound to our emotions, and it just makes you feel good. So true hunger is very different from the emotional hunger that we get, and fasting will help you differentiate that, especially intermittent fasting. When you practice intermittent fasting, your body will learn when it is actually hungry versus when it just wants food because it's bored or something. So that's different from not feeling good during a fast. The heartburn that I felt during my fast, the lethargy that I felt, was not normal, because I have fasted, before, and I know that those things are not normal. So I had to listen to my body and quit at that period in time. The next thing that happens during fasting is by day 5, a rash develops. And it is a horrible, awful rash. It happened the very first time that I did an extended fast, and it happened this time again. And I have pictures that you can see of the rash, and it is a full body rash. It is absolutely dreadful, and it itches like crazy. And the Benadryl did absolutely nothing to stop it. And I found myself just running to a 24-hour pharmacy in the middle of the night to get some calamine lotion and some topical hydrocortisone. And honestly, the calamine lotion helped more than the hydrocortisone, just to calm the itching. But the healing process of the rash is really, really bad. And that's one reason why I think that going forward, I may limit my fasts to about 5 days, because that's right when the rash starts to show up. And if you do anything longer than that, the rash kind of just gets worse before it starts to go away again by, like, if you're doing a really long fast, it starts going away by like day 21 or something. I didn't get to that point. Obviously, all I had was a horrible, horrible rash. And I can show you what it looks like when it starts healing. It is not pretty. It messes with your life plans, especially if you're planning a vacation or something. Now remember, this is moisturized skin. This is skin that has tons of shea butter and lotion on it. And you can see how scaly it is, and dark and discolored, and it feels almost like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like a burn is what it feels like. And you can see the ashiness. And just keep in mind that this is all over my body, like all over. And it feels terrible, just absolutely terrible. And the itching, the pain, all of that, this is by far my least favorite part of fasting. And I know that it's not going to leave a scar, because it's just like dry, scaly skin, and I'm exfoliating and I'm putting lotion, and it doesn't feel like my skin. It feels like, I don't know, it feels like cured leather or something. That's what it feels like. Your body just releases toxins, and it's just a detox process from fasting, and the rash is part of it. I have yet to find anything that prevents the rash from coming. I think the only thing I haven't tried is having a physician write me a prescription for like prednisone. But based on my experience taking pills with fasting, I'm not even going to do that going forward. So if you do decide to do an extended fast, just keep in mind that you might get this rash. Some people are lucky and they don't. But if you do, just stock up on calamine lotion. Try not to scratch, just rub it all over yourself, and hopefully it'll go away on its own, maybe a shorter duration than mine was. But that's just the one thing that would prevent me in the future from doing an extended fast again, longer than 5 days, is this rash. It's dreadful. It's terrible. It's horrible. I need to learn more words. I think those are the main negatives that happen during this fast. The good things that happened would be like weight loss. When you fast, you lose a pound to a pound and a half a day of fasting. And then after your body is done burning a lot of the fat, it starts to even out to like 0.4 pounds or something a day. So I fasted for 8 days. I lost about 9 pounds. The thing to remember is that a lot of the weight that you lose in the beginning of a fast like this is water weight, because your glycogen stores get depleted, and glycogen is mostly water weight. So the minute you start eating again, don't be surprised, those 4 or 5 pounds will come right back. The key to keeping weight off after doing an extended fast is to change your diet and change your habits. So the reason I decided to go ahead and fast to begin with was because I wanted to change my taste buds and reset my eating patterns. Although I am a plant-based person, I found that I was craving more processed, albeit plant-based, but processed foods, and I wanted to eat more of a whole foods plant-based diet. So a lot more vegetables, literally just a lot more vegetables. And I knew that fasting was going to be a great way to reset my taste buds. So that's why I went into this, and it has. Ever since I stopped my fast, I have been eating a lot more vegetables, cooking with a lot less oil, if any oil at all, and just trying to experiment different spices and different ways I can eat more vegetables, which I will show in a different video, because I love cooking and tasting recipes and stuff like that. So yes, fasting has definitely enabled me to change my taste buds, and I'm going to try and keep the weight off and just be more healthy in 2020, this new decade. Even though you can be plant-based, you can be an unhealthful person. You can be vegan and be unhealthy. I think the diet that has been shown to actually reverse heart disease is a whole foods plant-based diet. So lots of vegetables, lots of greens and seeds and grains and nuts, and very little processed fats like oils. But that's one thing I would say about the weight loss is you cannot do an extended fast and think that all the weight is going to stay off. When you start eating, some of that weight is going to come back. The key is to make sure that your diet stays healthy and you keep up with an exercise pattern. Going forward, would I recommend extended fasting? Absolutely. But if you are pregnant or nursing, or you are a growing child or a teenager, or you have anorexia, or you struggle with eating disorders, or you have very little body fat to burn in the first place, extended fasting is not for you. There are several people who have been pregnant and nursing who are able to do intermittent fasting successfully, because again, remember, your body naturally fasts when you're asleep. So adding a couple hours to that fast is not usually a huge deal for a lot of people. But if you are a child, you are growing, you have eating disorders, you have very little body fat, then you doing an extended fast is actually dangerous for your health. So please don't do that. Talk to a healthcare professional before you do that if you have any of those conditions or you are in any of those life stages. The book that I recommend to read anytime you want to do any kind of fast is the book called The Complete Guide to Fasting by Dr. Jason Fung, and I will link it below. It's an affiliate link, so you can just click on that. It helps support my channel at no cost to you. And he breaks down fasting, and he has actually successfully reversed people that have type 2 diabetes. He has reversed the disease using extended fasting. So if you are someone, or you know someone who has type 2 diabetes and is interested in curing, healing, reversing the disease, not just managing it with drugs and insulin, but is actually interested in just trying to change their lifestyle, then I recommend that book, and I recommend that you contact a physician like him who is experienced in doing this and who does this for a living, and see if they can actually help you make that change. But anyone that has any kind of condition like type 2 diabetes or a heart condition, it's best to do a fasting regimen in conjunction with a healthcare professional so that you can actually be monitored and do it in the safest way possible. So fasting is recommended for the vast majority of people, except for people with certain lifestyles and certain conditions. For those people, it's recommended that you do it with approval from a healthcare professional and with monitoring from a healthcare professional. I personally love fasting. I think it helps my lifestyle a lot. We'll see about me doing a fast that is longer than 5 days in the future. For now, this rash is preventing me from even thinking about it. But yes, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed most of it anyway. And we'll see what happens in the future. If you like this video, please like, share, subscribe, and give it a thumbs up. Check out my website, thesimplepharmacist.com. I'm gonna write a blog post about my fasting experience, and also links to the books that I recommend. And the next video is going to be about Cuba. I moved this one up because I ended the fast prematurely. And then I'm also going to do some more reviews, some more money talks, and just, other things. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. And I will catch you in my next video. Happy New Year again. Bye.